Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the Zentangle original tangle Swarm. This is a neat, it's really a texture tangle, and let's see, grab my stuff here. I'm going to do my four corners and a border. This could be, I see this almost more as a fill-in tangle, but really, there's a lot of ways that you could use it. Do take a look at the uh, link in the description section for more inspiration so that you can have just that. One of them is a Zentangle newsletter where they presented this for the first time, and they show some different ways there. As far as you could use it as a border, use it as like I said, standalone tangle or a fill-in. Really neat. Okay, and I looked at this one for a long time and hesitated. Really didn't try it because I'm like, oh, there's no way. But as I'm doing it, oh yes, you too can do this tangle. All right, I'm going to start sort of in the middle, and it's just a series of straight lines. So starting with one, and then making subsequent, essentially auraing this. So pick a distance, and each one is a little bit smaller than the one before. And you essentially create a triangle. Then, so you have two new sides here, and we'll do the sides, uh, you know, either one of these sides, not this side. And we'll put a new line and not touching, nothing touching. Well, as best as you can try to not touch. And same thing. This one, it does take a bit of focus and go slow. And then, and I'm thinking there's one, maybe it's called, maybe I can't remember if we've done it. I think it's Necton is what's in my head, where it's kind of like this, but it's not as organized, and it's a nice texture tangle also. So if it ends up, whoops, you have there's no such thing as a mistake in Zentangle, right? You just ended up doing a different tangle. All right, and then going on the on the side where there's ends. I'm trying to think of a better way to put that, but I can't. And it's basically just rinse and repeat. Do the same things over and over again. And again, just being careful and focusing on making each line just a little bit smaller than the one before and following it around. And also not, try not to think about it too much like I was just doing there. Although you can kind of carefully extend the line, or just don't worry about it. That's the best way. Just don't worry about it. And now, if you want to make it into, what would this be? A hexagon. You're going to have one side like this that where you have, the lines are kind of going in a similar direction, and it's just don't worry about it. So then from here, and if you focus on, I gotta make those a little bit, there we go. Focus on, again, putting your new line on top of lines going, I guess it'd be perpendicular, right? Yeah. And just still, don't worry about the outcome. We're not supposed to worry about the outcome when it comes to Zentangle. We just follow the steps and focus in on the step that we're doing. Let's see, I can squish in a little one here. And even if they're not all equal, you can still make make them all fit around, or don't worry about it. And like on my version of the step out, and I think if you look at, I have to go back and look at it at Zentangles. you could do this where you're going, whoops, that touch, don't worry about it. If it does, it's all right. You can just have it go whichever way you want. It's fun to have it be a fill in, but you could have it, like I said, be some kind of weird shape. And just don't worry about it if things don't line up. I might hit that one afterwards. Although I think if you really want to have them tight and make the hexagon shape, probably best to not do like this. I was just going out in whatever direction. It's probably best to just continue to do them in some sort of an order because it does seem to help. Oops, that one, my pen got away from me. And focusing also on making each one smaller than the one previous helps to kind of get them to fit in together without like I said, without feeling like, oh, I don't think I can do that. And then you end up with some weirdness. Like that's just because I was going off. I was going a little rogue there. But I did want to demonstrate the couple things. One, you can make it all neat and tidy like this, or two, don't. You get to do what you want. And I am amazed though, without really having to think too much, that I can create that hexagon type shape without too much effort. It's just, keeping uh, to keep going kind of in this pattern, around, and then start anew, and then continuing to go around. It's just remarkable. I love these kind of things where it just looks like, oh no, there's no way, and oh yes there is. And here I'm kind of working underneath the border because I like to do that. Let's see. Let's do here. Let's see if we can get this to sort of fit together. Also, and I this I found helped me in the for more inspiration. Like I don't know which direction I'm going now. Oh, let's just continue this direction. Um, the so I probably put two links in. One is to Zentangle, the other is to Tangle Patterns. And on the Tangle Patterns link, Linda has put a couple of links to videos, and I think it's just Martha and Molly on them. And I find it, I mean, just like I hope that you find having somebody talk through the Tangle helpful. I found it very helpful to listen to to them. They're closer to the original. They're I don't know. I'm not sure who came up with this one, but it's just nice to hear it from them and hear them talking through some of these tangles. It's just nice. And there's also no notice how I start one size and then I end up small. It's definitely a don't worry about it type of thing. I'm just gonna start fresh here. So it was getting a little weird in there. But one of the things that was mentioned is to work towards having your spacing being as consistent as possible, and it does certainly help. But as we know, there's no perfect in Zentangle. So do your best and know that if it's not exact, and that's my job. My job is to prove that yeah, you don't have to be anywhere near perfect to do this. It can all work out just fine. But it's like I said, it's just a neat tangle. Actually, I might let's see, I might do just an odd shape something in there. I don't know yet. But that's the fun is coming up with, well, how do I get myself out of that one? type of thing. So if I want to have this to be a nice, complete fill in, am I going to fill in that one little space? Or do I just leave that one little space and not worry about it? That is the decision. I should have started this a little bigger than I thought, but that's okay. So I hope you are enjoying this so far, and if you are, would love it if you click the like button, give your hand a little break. Every once in a while with tangles like this, where it's really the same thing over and over again. Every once in a while, just stretch your hand. I know I end up with a death grip. On one of the videos they were mentioning it, I let them play all the way through. So I'm not sure which point, and it's just so funny because they said pen's not gonna jump out of your hand, and I'm like, oh, you're so right, you're right, it's not. But yeah, for some reason, the more lines that we do like this, then it's like okay. But like I said, take a hand stretch, and while you're taking the hand stretch, click the like button, and if you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button. If you enjoy it, that's only if you enjoy me enough to see more of me. Um, I would love to have you be a subscriber. And as I'm finishing this, I want to mention in the description section, I've already mentioned links to step outs, and I always do my own version of the step out, and then link to the creator of the tangle. Uh, Also in there, you will find ways to connect with me. So I have a link to my website where you can see the classes that I do. I do teach twice weekly. I have a lot of sessions that are free and some that are paid. Uh, Below that, I have a link to, if you happen to be on Facebook, a link to my Facebook page. And if you would like to hang out with a bunch of amazing Tangle addicts, we would love to hang out with you. And I have a link to our private group there. And know that there are like 3 membership questions to gain entry to that group. And I just like to make sure that you're aware of it. Let's see. And I think that is it on there. But like I said, if you like it, also feel free to leave comments and share it if you enjoyed it. Let's see. I got a few little gaps here, but it's oddly soothing. The other challenge, of course, is just making sure to make each little line a little smaller than the one previous. And I'm thinking, okay, where do I want? Oh, let's see. If I come from here, it just fits in weird. That's okay. It's all good. And I think that's one of the things that I like best about Zentangle is it's kind of like this creative problem solving. It's like, oh, what shall I do here? Oh, well, what should I do there? Oh, let's see. I'm gonna fit this in. Go in the. There we go. Oh, one little section. Now, I would highly recommend. Well, it's up to you. I should say. Do it bigger than you think. Definitely. Okay, there we go. Now, shading, I would say, unless you do this really large, where you might be able to treat it like in Indirella if you've done that tangle, and if not, I do have a video on it, where you could kind of, shade one side, highlight the other side. I would highly recommend on this one, just do the perimeter. And I'm going to add some to my little line here. My initial border. Alright. And then we'll just bring it in. I would just do this section. Up to you though. Maybe you come up with something even more creative. You don't honestly, you don't have to shade it. Because I was thinking, oh, I could go on the outside. That would be neat too. But yeah, just like that. And well, you know what? I'm gonna take back what I said because I'm trying to. Oh, I know where it was. It was in my shading class that I did. One of the things that we talked about was, and I'm just adding some lines, and I'm kind of following like a couple little sections just to add a little extra something. I mean, you kind of see some patterns in here, and you can kind of follow those patterns. I'm just using what's left on my tortillon, but that adds a little extra texture on the inside. And there no rhyme or reason. I just found some some lines. Like you can kind of see that. Like, and I did right here, and I just followed it with the tortillon. Again, just wiping off what some of the graphite that's already there. So there's an additional thought. Lots of fun. So this was a neat tangle. Neat tangle. A nice fill in, a nice texture. Again, hope you enjoyed it. And with that, because I said all of the information as I was working, I wish you happy tangling.